Hello, dear students. Today's topic is the concept of constructors in Java. It is the first part out of a total of 3 parts on the same topic. Let us see how a constructor looks like. When you look at a constructor, you'll find that it looks just like a Java method. But it has special powers. It is used to instantiate an object. It has 3 properties. First one, it has the same name as that of a class, means class name and constructor name should be same. Second point is, it does not return any value. So, return type is never written in its prototype. Third one, it gets invoked automatically when an object of the class is created. Means, when we create the object of the class, the constructor is automatically called by Java. We'll be checking out these points in the following examples. So, wait and watch. Let's take a very simple example of a constructor. You see, the class name is ABC, and something which looks like a function also has the name ABC. This ABC written in blue color is a constructor. It does not have any return type, as you can see. No return data type is mentioned before that. And the name is same as that of the class ABC. Every Java program that you write makes use of a constructor, always. So, if we do not define a constructor, then Java does it on its own. And that constructor is termed as a default constructor. And the default constructor initializes the instance variables using the default properties as per the data type. That is, if the data type of the data member is double type, so it assigns 0.0. If it is character type, it assigns null. If it is int type, it assigns 0, and etc. etc. Hence, a constructor is basically used for initializing the instance variables. You see, instance variables are those data members which are non-static. So, those data members which are non-static, when they get attached with the calling object, some legal values are given to it. And this is called instantiating an object. Here's a simple example to demonstrate the use of constructor. The name of the class is result, written in brown color. The name of the constructor is also result, written in blue color. And as you can see, no return data type is mentioned in the prototype of constructor. It's just mentioned result. No void result, no int result, nothing, only result. So here your marks are deducted if you write down some keyword over there, like return type int, return type void, anything. If you write, that means deduction of marks. So in the constructor part, just write down the name of the constructor. And it may or may not have some parameters, but that is a topic that we'll be taking up later. In main function, you can see the object creation of result class. The name of the class result is written in brown color. The name of the object is obj1. The memory allocation for this obj1 object is done by new operator. And result with brackets written in blue color is actually the constructor. So constructor will be invoked automatically when this object obj1 is created. And this is the third point that you saw earlier, that it is invoked when the object of the class is created. Then through that object, we are calling show function. On the right hand side of the screen, you can see some grid is drawn, having obj1 as the heading, then roll equals to 1, then name equals to Dhruv, then marks equals to 95.0. Now what is this? It actually shows that memory gets reserved for each of the data members which are associated with the object obj1 as soon as this object is created. Object is also termed as an instance of a class. So as soon as the object obj1 is created, along with it, the data members role, name and marks get associated. These three data members are declared as non-static. To make something static, we write down the keyword static just before it. But here it is not written, so we call it a non-static data member. So as soon as obj1 is created, these non-static data members get associated with it. And then they start occupying some RAM space. And in that RAM space, what values will be stored? That is decided by the constructor. So just see, in the constructor, what is written? Roll equals to 1, name equals to Dhruv, marks equals to 95.0. These are the starting point values being given to the instance variables, which are attached with the object obj1. And hence, on right hand side, that is being shown as a grid. That as soon as obj1 is created, the instance variables come into existence and they start having the values given by the constructor. The output as per the program is shown here. As explained in the previous example, that when an object is created, instance variables get associated with it and they start occupying RAM space, having the values provided by the constructor. When an object is created, then all the instance variables get attached with it. It means that if we have two objects, let's say obj1 and obj2, then two copies of each of the instance variables come into existence, and of course at different memory locations, so the values do not get mixed up. Since the values do not get mixed up, so the changes made in one object are not reflected in the instance variables of another object. So the two objects can have two different set of values during the program's execution. To understand the concept better, let us go through an example. A class is there of the name result written in blue color. Then we have a constructor written in blue color, the same name as that of the class, and it does not have any return type also. Three data members are there, role, name and marks. Their data type is also mentioned. And one function show is there to display the details, that is display the values of role, name and marks. Then one more task is given to create the main function, in which we have to create two objects and make changes in the instance variables of one object and then display the details. Look at the solution. The class name is result, the constructor name is result, the data members int role, string name and double marks. which are non-static. So when the object or objects are created, these data members will get attached with those objects and start occupying the different memory locations. Then we have a show function, then main function, and in main function we can see two objects are created. The name of the class is result and the constructor name is also result, as you can see, and two objects are obj1 and obj2. So this is the way objects are created. When the objects are created, then obj1 along with its own set of instance variables start existing, and obj2 along with its own set of instance variables start existing. So at the time of object creation, both the objects will have the same set of values because we are calling the same constructor at the time of object creation. When obj1.show is executed, then show function displays the values of roll name and marks. And which values it will display? The values which are associated with the calling object obj1. So the value of roll will be printed as 1, the value of name will be printed as Dhruv, and value of marks will be printed as 95.0. Now just see what is written over there in blue color. obj2.roll equals to 2. We are making changes in the instance variables associated with object 2. Roll equals to 2, then obj2's name will have a new value Ananya, and obj2's marks will have a new value 99.0. Hence, when obj2.show is executed, show function will display the values of roll name and marks which are associated with the calling object, that is obj2. So the new set of values will be displayed. And the result is there on the screen. Object 1 has the same set of values because we did not make any changes. These values were given by the constructor. And the values associated with object 2 have been changed. So we have the updated set of values. Roll number is 2, name is Ananya, and marks 99.0. So a different set of values can be maintained through different objects. The best way to understand a concept is to go through an assignment related to it. So an assignment is coming up, and as you read the question, please pause the video. Solve it in your register and then play the video to get the solution. I'm not giving you any new program. Just make modifications in the previous program to print average marks scored by both the students combined together and then display the result. For example, if student number 1 gets 90 marks and student number 2 scores 100 marks, then the overall average marks will be 95. So for this, you have to set the formula and then display the result. I hope that you have really worked on that problem before checking the solution. So, the explanation. The class name is result, the constructor name is result, and this constructor will assign these default values 1, Dhruv and 95.0 to the members associated with each object. That means object number 1 will also have the same set of values as the default values. when it is created, and when object number 2 is created, it will also get the same set of values. Please check the last statement for the changes. Nowhere else in the program a change is made, but it is made only on the last line. Object 1.marks when added to object 2.marks and divided by 2, we will get the average marks. So we are dealing with two different set of values through two different objects, and we are picking out members associated with each as per our need. And this is what is done when multiple objects are considered in a program. Check the output as per the logic of the program. Object number 1 has a different set of values. Object number 2 has a different set of values, because object number 2's values are all updated. That is why. Initially it was also having 1, Dhruv and 95. But we updated it to a different set of values. So using the object number 1's marks and object number 2's marks in a formula, we get average marks, that is 97.0. And this is what happens when we deal with multiple objects. I hope that this video proves to be fruitful in understanding the topic. This topic will be continued in the next video. Take care, keep practicing.